I kind of want to make this. I kind of just want to. I'm making this like a short stream. This is more like a video because I was just gonna record a video and post this, but I decided, fuck it. I'll just talk because I don't feel like editing a video or anything. So every once in a while, well, this happens a lot lately. As I sit, kind of flip through some things, or I watch like a movie from my childhood, and it makes me realize something about the culture that we live in right now. How fucking weak it is. And how utterly, completely, and totally pathetic everything around our culture has truly become. I don't even mean like the things that we do. Like, we have a great nation, we have a beautiful empire, right? But the people themselves, a lot of them are too fucking weak to be able to protect it, to make it better, to improve it even further. It's just kind of like one of those things, one of those things that it's like a shower thought, I guess. But I just kind of wanted to complain for a minute because, like, if something over the past 2 weeks, something I've learned a few things: to be humble, but to also be a fucking man. Accept the faults that you have. If you fail at something, that's okay. The only time that it's actually bad is when you don't rise up again after you failed. That's what being a man is. It's constantly failing, but never giving up. Because this is where things kind of become, how do I phrase this? This is how things become worse. You absorb yourself in your own self-righteous ego. You never get to the point where you understand that you have failed at something. You can never actually improve and make and do better. So this is something that I've like known for a long time, right? This is something I thought was normal for people to understand. Even before I was Christian, I understood that everything in life is a lesson. No matter how big the failure, no matter how much you think that this thing is like pointless to do because it's so challenging. That's such a fucking weak mindset. Everything you do in life, every failure you have is a lesson. You're going to fail 99% of the time. And that 1% of success that you have is not something that you should truly hold on to. You should be maybe somewhat proud of that 1% that you succeed at, but the 99% destroy, like, the 99% is where the lessons are had. So you could have success, that's cool, but forget about it. Don't hold on to it. Do you bait yourself up over your failures? No. You analyze, you analyze it, you go through it, you figure out the problems, and you move forward. That's what being a man is. Never standing in place, never being absorbed by the fact that you did fail. Because what happens is you end up wrapping your mind in these knots that prevent you from learning anything. Is Drew a novel is nest to your smoke spot? Yes, exactly. That's why it's here. But A lot of the frustrations that I have with seeing people on the internet is just showcases like the weakness in the person that it makes me judge them because I think it'd be because that it makes me judge them because they're being fucking weak. And it makes me want to attack. It makes me want to attack them. It makes me want to be vicious towards them. It makes me want to do what I think would make them stronger. But it actually ends up turning into, for a lot of these people, into things that give them an excuse to be weak. So is that a good thing to attack somebody like that? I think in some cases, yes. Do I think it's okay to have like aggressive conversations? Me and Emmett had an aggressive conversation the other day about something that I truly believe in and he truly believes in. Does that make? But how did that how did that end? We both shook each other's hands in a way, and we left the conversation like men. That's what we did. That's what the internet needs more of, is people that do that instead of acting like a bunch of children. That's the primary problem with a lot of people now, is they're just children. They never grew up. They worked hard, or they could build something, but they never learned how to grow up. They stayed stagnant in this mindset that because they work really hard, that means that they ought to get something out of it. They ought to get praise. You don't need fucking praise. Praise is a fucking lie. It's fucking, it's a lie that makes you passive. You don't do things because of the end result. You don't do things because it's praiseworthy. You do things to learn, to grow, to become stronger. And the way that you become stronger is by failing. And you can tell that within a lot of people that have failed a lot. You can see when it changes somebody. And you can also see when people are just passive and accepting of failure without actually trying to learn anything from it. And what do those people generally do? I mean, they generally just hide. They hide behind empty types of communication. They pass things off as just a joke and not something to be taken seriously. They build themselves, and you could do that and that not be a bad thing. There's some things you shouldn't take seriously. But I mean, if your whole world is not taking anything seriously at all, you're not doing any type of introspective work on yourself, then you have failed. You're empty. You're dead on the inside. You've just allowed yourself to become a living corpse. So when I see people like that, was the first thing I want to do. Drag them out with their corpse. What am I attacking? I'm attacking basically an inanimate object. A fucking pile of bones is what you're attacking. What is the purpose in that? And there is none. That's a big lesson that I've learned over the past probably 7 or 8 months. So The conclusion to that is ignore the corpse, ignore the pile of bones. They have no desire to interact truthfully ever. I prefer the quote, truth over sweet nothings. You do things to become proud of what you do after you finally done it well. I don't know if there's any way to really understand when you do something well. You could be successful at doing a certain task depending on what your metric of success is, but I don't think there's really any sort of objective ability to know if you've done something well, except for um, through the church. I think the only way that you could know if you've done something truly well, if it's something that directly connects you to God. So in that way, it's best to always think of things as if you have failed it. You've done your best, but ultimately it's not perfect. So you have had failures within that you need to correct. So there would always have to be a model for something to be. You'd always have to have a reference point to understand if you do something well. And as much as we as humans try to convince ourselves that we do something very well, like say we build a really spectacular like building or something, we built a beautiful home or a beautiful career or whatever to us, or a or even like a beautiful like argument within a debate. It's all kind of meaningless, or it's not meaningless, but it's ultimately flawed. There's always something to improve within it. I think ultimately, like, I find myself every once in a while becoming too content with things that I've figured out works. So, and as I've grown and as I continue to grow, I realized that that contentment was just like a passive lie that's convinced me to stay stagnant within this one view. That's not a good thing. You have to be willing to accept truth no matter what. I know I've done something well when I feel proud of it, like a part of I leave behind, like a part of me I leave behind. Well, this is the thing. Yeah, this is the way I think of the world. This is why, I ultimately don't truly care about the worldly things that I do. I care more about the connections made with people and the way that I can help take them to a place that I think can truly help them, like the church. I don't think that the things that I do, the things that I build, will ever be something to be proud of because it's ultimately not perfect. Does that mean I punish myself for being not perfect? No. What it means is that there's always a lesson to be learned in every failure. So it's almost exciting. It's almost excited to fail about something because there's always something there to improve. That's the way that I've been most of my life. And I've begun to question lately if that is even a thing that I should hold to. So I put it under a stress test to see if I should just like kind of accept, well, I did the best I can. And what it did is it made me angry. It just made me angry because it was like, well, I just did the best I can, so this is the best I could do. Well, this is shit. So what was the point of doing it in the first place? So it's always Like, and it's always something that I think I need to hold on to. And in accepting that, it almost makes everything more it makes me a more gentle person in a lot of ways, because that's the way I'm trying to see other people and the things that they do. Though they failed, well, that doesn't mean that they're bad. That means that they've just got a lot of lessons they could learn. And as long as they see those lessons, then I think that they're always making progress. But once somebody decides that this is the best I could do, or this is the best that I want to do, then it makes them weak. It makes their whole world kind of collapse in on itself just by people pushing against what they're doing. But if there's failures, then you become, and you understand that there are things that there's always something to learn depending on those failures. You become like unmovable. You become more capable because you're always gaining more things. You're always I'm trying not to say the word tools, but I'm just going to say the word tools, okay? You gain more tools. God damn it. Why did the word tools have to be fucking ruined? But, I always think that this is something that applies to a lot of people on the internet. If I choose not to interact with you and you notice that I've not engaged with any person like that, it's because I immediately assume that there's nothing that I can learn from you, and there's nothing that you'll ever learn from me because you're too self-centered to really grow from it. And that all I could do is actually damage not only myself but you in that process. The only reason I have what I have now is because I failed at every single time before. I failed upward for a long time. Well, what I'm saying is, even if you don't fail upward, even if your life is nothing but constant and consistent failure, it doesn't like matter. You don't have to get anything out of everything that you do. You don't need praise. You don't need things. You don't need anything besides understanding the lessons at every failure. That's the real reward, is the lessons from all failures. And I think that's what the world is kind of for, is so that you can fail. And I think that's like a special ability that we as humans have, is to grow beyond failure, to always be improving. And, this is my opinion, but it's also like, that's kind of like a gift from God. That's something that's special about humans, is that we will grow and continuously grow forever. We will always become better and always be reaching towards what is the infinite good, which, we'll never be able to really get to that level, but it's always improvement. There's always going to be us becoming better. This is just the first stage of that. This is us like being like hatchlings. We're the fucking sea turtles on the sand, and we're trying our best to work towards the ocean. That's what we are right now. But the problem is that since we are faulty, most of us, like the mass majority of us can't make it to the ocean on our own because there's too many predators on the beach trying to snatch us up and prevent us from ever getting to the ocean. So we have to rely on protection from God Himself. So the only way to truly make it to that end is with the help of God and the method in which He gives us to heal and become better so that we can make it there with His help. So it's also like this. People specifically on the internet that you could see like out in the open act like this, who can't take criticism, who have built this giant ego. And this doesn't just apply to one person, this applies to many people. Without the ability to be humble in understanding that you are constantly failing, there is no growth within that person. That the only way that you can really truly get a man out of that is by letting them be crushed, or even helping in the crushing of that person. There's a reason why men treat each other the way that we always keep each other in check. And that's the good thing about being a man. And if you're too weak to be put in check, if you're too weak to be made fun of, if you're too weak to joke about yourself, if you're too weak to understand that you failed at something and that you need the constant praise of other people, then you're not a man. I don't know what you are, because I don't even think women are that way. I guess you'd just be a failure. An actual failure. So when things seem like they're too hard, or that they're crushing you, that you're too weak to actually manage to get through it, that's not you being too weak. That's you being retarded, to be honest. Because there's nothing in this world as a man that you can't handle. That's the truth of it. Everything that's given, every challenge given to you is given to you based on the strength that you have. And to be a man is to always not only be willing to be put in check by your brothers, but also to be willing to put yourself in check. So if you fall on the ground and you're not trying to get back up, you're a failure. That's just the truth. Do I say that to hurt people? Do I say that to do anything? No. I'm saying that so you'll get back up, because you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting everyone around you down. So this is something that I have a problem with when I hear people, like, it's just a joke. I get it, but it kind of frustrates me, is that I don't ask God to give me more patience. I don't ask God to make me stronger. I don't ask God to give me more wisdom, because He's going to throw tests at me that make me that. Why wouldn't you want it? Why wouldn't you want those tests? Throw yourself in the fire. Throw yourself in the fire. Give me all the tests. I want them all. I want them every day. I want every challenge that you can possibly throw at me. And if I stumble and fall over, I will get back up and I will keep asking for more. That's what being, I think, a man is truly in the core of your nature. Bring me more. Bring me more challenges. Do it. And don't think that, oh, I need just a breath. I need to breathe for just a minute. Fuck that. You don't need to breathe. You can breathe while you're standing back up and you're taking on the challenges that are being given to you. And if you fall over and you want to stay down, fuck you. Get up. The fuck are you doing? God doesn't give you more than you can bear. Well, this is the thing, is that he will give you more than you can bear, but there's always a lesson in giving you more. There's always a lesson in having so much weight stacked on your shoulders that you collapse, and the lesson is you get back up. You get back up and you keep trying to pick that same shit up till you can pick it up consistently, until you forget about it even being there. Then you ask for more. And I don't even say that. And I sometimes it can drift into me being judgmental of another person. But it's also more as I grow in the faith that it's more like I'm not doing it because I'm not judging you. What I'm doing is I'm trying to make you strong so you can make it to the end of the race. Because that's what this is. This is just one big race to the end. And you don't have to finish first, but you do have to finish. And to be able to finish that, you have to become stronger. Because down the road, there are different weights that have to be carried. And if you continuously ask for more challenges and you continuously get stronger as you're running down the race of life, you don't even notice the new weights being stacked on you because you've already been prepared by it. You've already been prepared. So that's what's required of you as a man. That's what is required of you. That's what you're called to do. And you know what? And even in some cases, when another man falls over, you pick them up and you carry their weight for them too. Because brothers are stronger when united together. But if you're unwilling to carry any of that weight, and you just want your brother to carry all of it for you, you're not a man. You're a failure. I hope that you're okay. I'm fine. This is the thing. I'm fine. And I mean that with total sincerity. It's total sincerity. And the reason that I'm fine is because I've adapted to the weight. I don't even feel it anymore. Bring me more. Carry more. Put more weight on my shoulders, please. I beg God to do that for me. because every time that I've asked and I've gotten to the point where it feels like I can't bear it, I've gotten stronger by getting back up and doing the work. It's something that I've realized too is that people are so terrified of people are so terrified of challenges. I'm honestly getting to the point where I don't think I've ever made a single joke. I'm not trying to you know, tone police people, but I think it just kind of makes somebody look like a bitch when they joke around about, please God, don't give me any more weight. I've got enough. I've enough what I'm dealing with right now. I don't like that. If you're a man, you ask for more weight. If you're a man and you want to have a wife, a family, or children, all of that, that means you carry your wife on your shoulders. You carry your children on your shoulders, and you don't trip. Even when the weight becomes a little bit unbearable and you're just kind of walking very slowly, continue walking. If you stumble a little bit, correct yourself. I shut off my feelings. Logic is brilliant. I would have loved logic can get in the way. This is the thing. You can't turn off your emotions. Men are emotional creatures, the same as women. But the thing is, our emotions that we deal with are different than what women deal with. And those emotions are what strengthen us. Your anger, though it can be misused and misapplied, it's a weapon. It's a tool. Your anger is a tool. It's a weapon. You should never direct it at another person, but you should direct it toward yourself so that you can infuriate yourself to carry more weight. You can make yourself angry and burn out all the sin that's within you. Anger is not bad. It's just a tool that can be misused like everything else. Even something like love. Love is something that can make you stronger. Love is also an important emotional thing that men feel. Don't deny it completely. Don't deny your emotions. They're given to you by God. They are tools. They are weapons to be used to make yourself better. Stoicism is a fucking lie. At least in the way that people construct it now. So, like, being completely, totally blind and emotionless is something that makes you blind. This is the thing about the passions, right? The inherent, like the bad portion of what emotions can turn into. Passions are things that make you out of control. Emotions are tempered. They're forged. You have to be capable of correcting them rather than just forgetting about them. Because then they just sit in the back of your mind and they control you. Any man that says that they feel nothing is a man who's lying to himself. A man who is manipulated and controlled by emotions untested, unforged, and undisciplined. This is the this is what we do. And sometimes I'm going to see somebody that's being weak and I'm going to backhand them a little bit. Not out of hate, but out of love. I'm backhanding you so that you snap out of whatever fucking bullshit that you're in, any delusion that you've got going on. And I'm going to point you towards the end. I'm going to point you towards the goal. And if you're not willing to listen, then I'm going to leave you behind. And I'm not going to interact with people like that. You're gone. You're on the side of the road. You decided to stay there. And I don't have time to deal with that. If you give it up, you've given up. And I hope, and I'll always be hoping that, you figure it out, you get up. But if you're not, go fuck yourself. You deserve to be sitting there. You deserve to be on the ground because you were never a man to begin with. You're just a failure. So that's my philosophy of how I deal with panels. Like if I'm going at you aggressively, that's because I think you're slipping, you're stumbling. Am I going to do it in a perfect way? Of course not. I'm not a perfect person, but there's always a lesson within me failing in that. And that's me being able to encourage the next person better. Go to church, go to liturgy, become the part of the body of Christ. That's the way, that's the only way that anything gets solved. Nations fall, crumble, turn to ash. Your homes, your things, everything that you have, all of it's gone. And at some point, you may, even if you have a family, your family probably will abandon you at some point, and you will be completely on your own if you're a man. Because you know what? That's a good thing. Because it makes you stronger, makes you not rely on those people. The only one that you can and should rely on is God. Anyways, that's what I got out of let's you want to know what inspired me to fucking talk about this? I remembered a movie when I was a kid. Um and I just saw a random clip from it when I was like scrolling through YouTube. And it's one of those random 90s kids movies where, these two people become super good friends and one's like a sickly kid. Let me find the movie. I think it's called, I don't know how I've forgotten the movie title already. I remembered it when I found it. Um, it's called The Mighty or something. Reek It the Mighty, I think is what it's called. It's one of pretty sure that's what it's called. But it was one of those things like, wow, everything that's made now is pretty gay. This is a movie that was made for children, and it taught you the reality of the world and the instances that you're put into and the capability of growth from it. And I was just like, wow, I need to stop allowing my child to watch stuff that's made for children now. This is why I think the way that I do. This was the cultural influence that made me this way. This was the strength of our culture that's been slowly drained out by these weak, soft, progressive fucking. Oh, I almost said a slur. Okay, we're getting. Yeah, too aggressive. I'm getting too into it. Okay, this is why these soft, weak bitches control everything. It's because they've never understood the messaging given to them. They've just kind of sucked on the teat of making yourself feel good. Cope is what it is. People have gotten too used to coping rather than dealing with it and accepting that this is not only a good thing that this challenge is happening to me. It's a good thing that this horrible thing has happened to me because there's lessons to get from it. But I should be hoping for more of this. I should be carrying it. I should want to carry more. I should want to hold more. Because the most, not only the most interesting people, the strongest people have always been the people that have gone through the most shit. Anyways, that was just something that came to my mind after watching that movie. The world, the culture, the libertarians are probably the worst out of the soft, weak bitches in the entire nation. Oh, somebody's mean to me. Authority bad. Go fuck yourself. You deserved it. You got crushed under the boot. You deserved it. Even if you think and you can live a totally complete and absolute righteous life, if the boot comes for you, that's a test. You deserve that test. And if you pass through it, good for you. You did it. That's what you were supposed to do. Hey, a 12-foot 6x12 header throwing it on your shoulders and get over here. That was supposed to be a joke. I would have just taken that as a real, I would just take that as a real challenge. Why not? Being content for too long is an issue. Being content, I think, I think there's certain types of contentment, like content in suffering. Being content with suffering is okay. But being content in passivity, content with, that's like 400 pounds. I picked up 400 fucking pound cabinets before when I used to work at as a pseudo carpenter for a little while. So I I understand what you were saying. It's just I've picked up 400-pound cabinets before. Because God gave me a gigantic and powerful body. Why wouldn't I use it, challenge it, and stress test it constantly? I have gotten bad about not doing that lately, but I should continue to do it. I should have never stopped. And that's something that's I've always found interesting too. Is like I'll see people like be super proud of like the weights that they lift in a gym, and I'm just like, dude, if you work in like any type of steel, carpentry, anything like that, you ain't doing shit. And you're only doing it for a short amount of time. Try doing it for 12 hours. Fucking weak ass soy bitch. Go get a real job. This is the thing. Ultimately, every challenge in your life does revolve around the perspective in which you take. If your perspective is, oh, I like too hard, I don't like it, The enforcement agencies need to leave me alone because life's already difficult enough. Why are they taking my money to pay for things? Fuck you. Your tax money is the bare minimum you pay to be with a part of society that protects you. You're not willing to shill over at least a portion of what you make for your nation's defense. You are a bitch. And you think you're just owed shit. And if you think that, and also on their same effect, if you think that I should give money to the government so that you could stuff your face with fucking Mountain Dew and oatmeal, little Debbie fucking cakes, you could kiss my ass. You'll get a fucking job. Did you just say steel workers and carpenters aren't doing shit for any amount of time? No, I'm saying that they're the ones in comparison. People in the gym don't do shit in comparison to people who work in those fields. And I know that from experience. So whenever I see people that are like, look at my gains in the gym, bro. Look at all this weight. Oh, I could deadlift 200 pounds. I'm so super impressive. Go fuck yourself. Go work at a cab. Go work in any kind of carpentry. Go work at a steel mill. Do that. Then I'll be impressed. Not only do your job, but be the person there that does like two or three other people's jobs because they can't keep anybody because everybody's too fucking soft to stay in that field. So it's kind of like this. Like if I this is what I want for myself one day. I'm gonna be living in a home in the forest, one that I build myself. You know, obviously, if I'm by myself, then I'd be more willing to concede to a wife and her comfort. But if it's just me on my own, I'll go into the woods, I'll buy some property, I'll build a small home that would suffice to keep me warm and dry, and I'll just build everything that I need because that's something that I've learned throughout my life, and I know I can do it. And I don't want to have to. I just want that. I think wanting to have something that you built with your own two hands is a virtue, a real virtue, not being fucking blind. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I'll be totally and upfront and honest. I don't engage with Marte because I think he's extraordinarily bad faith. I'll go and joke around with him, but for the past year that I've seen him do debates, he's been incredibly bad faith in every type of. He tries to uh, railroad people and he just talks in circles constantly. He makes a handful of good arguments that he copied from other people. All the arguments that originate from him from the beginning that I've known of him in this space when he tried to enter it have been bad. And do I say that because I hate him and that I just want to talk shit about him? No. It's because his arguments are garbage. Who cares if you could make somebody really angry and incite them to hatred? It's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to tell the truth. Tell the truth in everything that you do. And even today, like like the people who protect that argument and are adding things to it to make it like somewhat of a type of argument that could be consistent or used in a preferential way. Cool. You're not helping Marte. That's your own separate argument that you've made. It's not the argument that Marte is using. The evidence has been continuously shown. It's not what he's doing. And if you're somebody that and the thing about it is, that would make him stronger if he just realized that. If he wants to accuse people of, well, you just don't do the thing. Okay, fine. So what? I haven't done as many debates as you. I haven't gone through whatever type of thing that you think that I need to do for me to be authoritative. That doesn't matter. The quadriplegic pill is superior. Actually, the argument that Marte uses ultimately reduces down to the coma pill. Because if you're a virtuous man, why wouldn't you take care of a woman who's in a coma? And if you're a woman before you go into a coma, if you sign over the ability for a virtuous man to be able to marry you, then there's no real problem with it. Even libertarians would have a trouble with that. So within Marte's argument, the coma patient would be the most virtuous because they are incapable of doing any sinful act. But it also means that they're incapable of doing any virtuous acts as well. But that's not the logic that he's using. But I ultimately don't want to keep talking shit about it. He's getting a lot of shit, deservedly so. But it's also like he's not going to listen to some dude here. He's not even going to know about it. He wouldn't even pay attention to it, even if somebody sent it to him. Because he's in a delusion right now. And the reason that he's in a delusion is because of what's happened over the past year, where he's just been constantly attacked over bullshit. Bullshit that's ultimately meaningless. Because this is the thing. I find it funny when atheists say that you are this thing and that there's no way to get out of it. You've just done this thing. So, you shouldn't talk or have opinions about this thing. This is the beauty of becoming a Christian and becoming baptized within orthodoxy. That person dies. That person that everything that happened before that is meaningless. Does that mean he's a good figurehead for some things? Probably not. But does that mean that you have the authority to say that? No. That's what the church is for. The church decides whether or not he should be capable of engaging in activities like that. You don't. That's the point. Submission under the church is what is the most important thing. One of the most important things within Orthodoxy. Submission. Because people don't understand what patriarchy is. Without the church, patriarchy is just man listen to woman. It's not what patriarchy is. Patriarchy is a system of duties that's given to you by a church, but with the head of that being God. So it's ultimately the prime patriarch is God himself, and everybody submits under him in a constant line and succession of different types of submission. Yeah, I don't get why everyone keeps bringing, because it works. Because Marte is weak in this sense, and that he allows people to manipulate him emotionally. And also, people allow somebody like that to people like that to continue to be around their spaces and allow them to keep saying that shit, and then just go, you know, they just kind of throw up their hands. Like, well, I'm not the one saying it, and I'm talking against it. Okay. What does that mean? What does that ultimately matter if you're platforming them? Now, my criticism is you can go and take, like, you could go to the short bus and take their candy. That's fine. But platforming them to do the same shit on your stuff, that is a problem. Now, dismissing it, shutting it down, and getting rid of it, and not allowing it, fine. That's acceptable. You know, ultimately, does it matter if I think it's acceptable? No. But immediately shutting it down is always a requirement. That whole portion of this thing is fuel to the fire for him not to accept that he is at fault, because it makes people look it to him in his delusion. It makes everyone that's attacking him look like they're on their side. Anyone attacking him personally is gay, and well, I think it's pretty gay to go look up gay porn. Just saying. I think that you talking shit about somebody doing it, and then you go to find it. I mean, like, it's pretty gay, but you kind of fucked yourself over there too. Gotta become and why would anybody take anything that anyone outside of the church says seriously about any kind of moral virtue when they have no framework which produces that which um could be a good criticism? If you ultimately can't justify why you think it's a bad thing or why somebody being a hypocrite is bad, why would I even listen to anything that that person has to say? Especially when these types of places do nothing but constantly lie, gaslight, try to get people to say shit out of context so they can make clips, so they can dunk on anyone that they possibly can that they don't like. It's gay. It's weak. It's why it's retarded to even engage with people like that. You could have your fun, steal their candy or whatever, but if you engage with them, they're going to do stuff that makes you look silly. And you have to expect that. You have to expect that. That's the point. I give Marte the benefit of the doubt that he's reformed, but that doesn't negate his short argument. Yeah. Like, it's a shit argument. It's terrible. It's a dumb argument. But it's also very similar to a lot of the arguments that he makes. But this is just like the bottle like the cork finally flying off. So it's like it's just something that was eventually going to happen. Oh shit. But this is, and if he's supposed to be on our side, wouldn't it be smart for us to let us represent us with shit, not let him represent us with shit argument? Yes, this is something that I was talking about with me and Emmett when we were talking that one day about voting. Is that sometimes there's going to be people in the trench with us that are not actually with us. They're like, we should just surrender and let them have what they want in this case. So I'm not actually going to return fire. You know, I'm going to actually point the gun or point the weapon at you instead and say that you're being insane and unreasonable. Or sometimes people will be in the trench with us and they will have a weapon, you know, a explodey weapon, and they don't know how to use it, and it ends up, you know, exploding and taking a lot of us down with it. This blind pill argument is one such weapon. We want the right wing to be stronger and to actually get things done. We have to first make sure that we're not only standing strong in certain positions, but we're also uh, making sure that everyone within our trench understands the weapons that they're using. Why can't he just accept that as a shit argument? Because right now he's able to have like these massive cope sessions of being supported by people that are just saying, well, see, they're doing the same thing as this certain community, so that means that it's all the same type of criticism, and they can just roll their eyes and say, they're just, it's not even that bad of a thing. It can work. Blonde chicks are divas. That's also true. They're virtuous divas. Yeah, the biggest problem right now that I see that's continuously happening, because this is the last time I'm probably really ever going to talk about this. The only reason I keep talking about it is because it's just a fucking topic that just doesn't go away. When this should have been over a while ago. It should have been over like a few days after that shit even happened. But and even then, like the criticism that I'm making about having these types of people on your shows, your panels, it's not me telling you what to do. It's more like me saying, what do you expect to happen? Do you expect that things are just going to change? Or if you're not like strong arming them to keep them in line with the actual position and not bringing up a whole bunch of other shit, then that is a failure. That is you passively allowing them to continue to spread the shit, which is where I see Emmett, was where I praise Emmett. He strong arms them, he stops it, and even paid AVG today. She stopped it. So that's something that's praiseworthy. But it's also like, continue to engage with those types of people. What happens? They're going to continue doing the same shit. And you're going to continue having to strong arm them and continue making sure that they understand that this is not something that you can do in these types of spaces. And they won't listen. And they'll take it as a challenge. And they'll keep trying to do it. And they'll keep using whatever small crowd that they have as like leverage. Or they'll use the, I'm so quirky thing. I'm so quirky, I don't listen. Cool, you've shown yourself as somebody who can't submit to anything. Cool, that doesn't make you a man, that makes you a child. Because there's always, as a man, you always have to have something that you submit under to. You can't exist in the world without having something that you must submit and work cooperatively with, because that's what submission means. Submission doesn't just mean that you listen. It's not just a you ought listen. It's you ought cooperate. That's just the that's the big misunderstanding that people have with what submission is, because it's been turned into this whole idea that feminism has just kind of taken over and redefined the word to make it seem as and just giving it a straw man to the 10th degree, to the nth degree, that they don't understand. And by the way, Voltaire, this is something I keep forgetting to do. And to be honest, I'm going to be real with you right now, Voltaire. I've been debating whether or not to do this for a while because I'm about to start removing some moderators. There's a few that I'm going to remove. Um, I think you kind of follow just what I say or what other people say a little bit too much, and you're very agreeable, and it pisses me off. That's why when you get drunk and you just start agreeing with everything that I say, it kind of gets on my nerves, and I stop listening to you. But there. But something else, and this ultimately kind of leads into my whole ideology of like this is the biggest criticism I have about what Abe is doing. This is a direct criticism in the argument that he's making and a lot of what he's trying to do is the idea that it's not your fault if you're a man. It is your fault. And even if you don't, uh, like, if you're not doing something to actively change the culture, then it's your fault. If you're actively not doing something that improves yourself, makes you stronger, and engaging the world, if you are worried about having a wife, um, maybe stop worrying about that so much. The culture's broken. Um, the way that men and women interact with each other are broken. And it's broken on both fronts of where men don't know what the fuck they're supposed to do if they can't get a chick, which is the reduction in moral character within a man. You shouldn't be doing things because you want to get a wife or a woman. You should be doing things because you are improving yourself and making you stronger. You are giving yourself, you are following you are submitting under the patriarchy of God, and you are doing what you ought to do, which is being stronger spiritually, being stronger emotionally, being stronger physically. You're ignoring all those things for the chasing of something that if you can't do the basics of what a man is, then you don't get that. And even if you do all those things and you still don't get it, what do you think that this is? Do you think this is a reward system that you must be praised, that you must have something for everything that you do? It's weak. You, as a man, shouldn't need anything but God. God and His church. That's all you should need. Everything else is a gift from God that is given to you. Now, everything that I say here, I don't think directly applies to women. Women, I think, are more gentle and they look up to men and they aspire in this culture right now to be like them because they don't really have any other enforcement structures, but they aspire to be like them, but it's very crushing in a specific way because they're not designed to carry the weight that we are. They're meant to carry some weight, but they're also meant to have a man carrying them. And your wife is not your mother. She owes you no sort of emotional support. If you are married and she provides that, cool, that's a good thing. But that's not a requirement. If you have a wife and she's not doing her duties within the marriage, which are some baseline things that are enforced by the church, you know, so what? Doesn't mean that you can't do what you're supposed to be doing. We're being weak and expecting praise and expecting rewards for the things you do. The reward itself is the failure and the lessons that you learn from that failure. And I guarantee you, if you live like this, women won't flock to you, but there will be a woman that gives you a chance. And you can't be afraid to lose that chance because men are the enforcement, like they enforce the framework of relationships. That's your duty. You create the lines. And if you fail at that duty, then relationships become chaotic and unstable, and you're not carrying the weight that you should be. And for the most part, like I think in this space, you know, there's a lot of valid criticisms for men because of how weak they've become. And I don't think we should shy away from that. Women are not in the inherent, total, and complete evil and the problem. There are bad women. There are, the hoes out there, right? They're the hoes. They're the self-righteous and indignant women that exist. But why is that your problem? That's not your problem. They destroy themselves. So why not make sure that you're not destroying yourself? Quit looking for rewards. There are no rewards in this life, truly. There are gifts, but there's no rewards. I love them 304s. It becomes my problem. Yeah, because you're weak. It's because you're weak. You have problems with self control and not indulging in things that are not um, for you. Now, does this mean that I am not also a weak person in some regards? Of course I am. But there's always improvements to be made. I'm weak in some ways. All men are weak in some ways. Most men are very weak nowadays. But there's always the ability to improve, to be better. You have to actually do it. And this is the last thing I'll say because I'm probably about to go to sleep. And tried fixing them, it doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work because you're trying to fix a broken thing. You cannot fix a woman. You cannot fix a woman. The church can heal a woman, but you cannot heal them. And even by some fluke that some people manage to do it, it's not you actually doing it. It's you fulfilling your role and God working through you to do that. So you can't do anything, truly. Only the truth can heal people. And the truth is not owned by you. You are not the truth. And I think the biggest problem that a lot of men have is the fear of being alone without actually truly understanding that you are actually truly never alone, that God is with you. God will give you more weight, He will push you, but He's always there for you. He's doing everything for your benefit. He's not trying to destroy you, He's trying to make you strong. And a lot of people, I think most people deal with a shitload of stuff in their personal life, and they don't understand the purpose of it. They get lost in this. Why is it happening to me? So it's simple. It's a very easy trap to get caught in, but it's fake. It's a fake thing. It's a lie told to you so that you just stay on the ground. So stop being on the ground. Get the fuck up. Do the little things. And if you can't do the little things in your life to keep you from falling over, then the big things that you think you ought be trusted with, um, is arrogant to think that you could have them. Like a lot of the problem that I see specifically in the red pill types of communities is that they're trying to work to correct women when they're really not correcting women. They're actually teaching them to be whores. Teach A lot of these people are teaching them to be bigger hoes because they have no groundwork or foundation. And you could say, well, the red pill is just a fucking data packet, blah, 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 blah. But, okay, but what are the prescriptives that they're giving? What do you call that? Are we supposed to just call it like the manosphere subscriptions or the red pill subscriptions? Do we really have to separate them? Because, yeah, in a debate, sure, you could correct and say, well, no, this is actually what the original intended meaning. This is the 10-year historic definition of what it means. Blah blah blah, dunk dunk dunk, whatever. But ultimately, what does that mean to the average person? If you are incapable of understanding that a lot of this stuff is a rhetoric war, and that some things like the red pill and the prescriptions that they give are flawed and an inherent part of their worldview, and that these people only describe themselves as a red pillar, they don't describe themselves as a Christian above what the red pill data packet is, then they're taking their oughts from themselves and from what the red pill they work together to create red pill prescriptions. And you know something else too, and this is why I say it's ultimately like the responsibility of the individual. If somebody is engaging with the content, if you're viewing these people that are not um, like good actors within the space, if you're watching to them as like an entertainment source, um, you're providing something to them. Is it your sole responsibility to not engage with that? No, of course not. Is it is it bad that you do engage with like watching it? I don't think so. I don't think that it's inherently bad. There's silly shit that happens, and it can be entertaining to watch people kind of just make ridiculous drama over nothing. But they don't really give anything beyond that. And to say that they do, that they give any kind of good criticisms towards anything, especially when they're trying to say, well, you're a hypocrite. Okay, well, why do you care? You're a hypocrite as well. Or even within, or even if you're not a hypocrite within your worldview, still doesn't change the fact that what you're doing is you live an immoral life. And there's criticisms that can be had within the trench itself that are valid, but somebody coming from another trench and pointing and say, well, look at this guy, it's meaningless. I'm getting tired. But also, it's not like a it's not a bad thing to understand that somebody's being a hypocrite from our trench and pointing it out. But it is, I just don't think that there's any value of somebody outside of the trench coming and say, well, look at this hypocrite. Okay, who cares? You're immoral. You live a destitute life. You live life like a living corpse. You're a pile of bones. Telling me that we ought listen to you over people within our own space who would make the same types of criticism, but have a better understanding and authority to do so. Even if the criticism is valid, it's not valid because of you pointing it out. It's valid because it's valid on its face, and it's valid because it's something that improves our side. And this is the thing too. This is the last thing I'll kind of end off with. It's like if you think that a libertarian is on the side of conservatism, of trying to correct the nation back to a godly state, you're lying to yourself, and they're not here to help. They're here to infiltrate and to gain more ground for the progressives. And the only thing that you can really take advantage of them with is their passivity on what government should enforce federally. So federally, sure, you can say they can put them in place to where they say, "We'll return this to the state," but within the state itself, there should be no libertarian that wins elections in a state. And the reason that I say that is because my state that I live in is taken over by libertarians, and they do as much shady shit as possible to work with the Democrats so that they can not be subservient to the conservative party within my state. And people blindly vote for them because they have a R next to their name when they're voting on a ballot instead of actually understanding what these people are doing. Primary these fuckers. Pay attention to your local elections. That's how you truly change shit. Let the libertarians have their retarded worldview that can be taken advantage of, federally, so that they leave the states alone, so that we could solve the problem on a smaller scale, and then that can outgrow into a federal, into something federal eventually. We don't give ground in the states. But damn, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired. You know what? I just got some good news. So I think this is a good time to. I think this is a good time to just say, let's end the day on a high note. I appreciate you guys for coming by. And, you should ultimately, although I give what I think are good opinions, you shouldn't just follow everything that I say. You should think for yourself a little bit, so that you could become more well grounded and be able to discern what is right and wrong for yourself. And always remember this: praise God for the challenges that you have. Praise God for everything that you have, the gifts that He gives you. And don't take them as rewards, take them as something that's undeserved, because it is undeserved. You don't deserve anything. You don't. That's the biggest problem too, is within our culture, is that people think that they deserve shit. You don't deserve a motherfucking thing. Not a goddamn thing. And don't ever let society lie to you and say that you do deserve these things, because it's just a manipulation tactic so they can get you to vote for them. But I'm going to sleep. You have a good one. Praise God. Praise Him for everything that He gives you. Even if you think it's bad, it's not. It's always a stress test. Y'all have a good one.